I died brutally at the hands of my family and best friend, all because I refused to claim 3 children that DNA proved were not mine. In my first life, I was beaten, slashed, and buried alive for telling the truth. My husband abandoned me, my best friend carved my face, and my parents bludgeoned me to death with a garden hoe, all for 3 mysterious triplets who appeared out of thin air. Now I'm reborn on the day the nightmare begins, and I'm no longer the victim. This time, I'll expose every liar and make them pay for my blood. I'm Vivian Bennett, and I've just woken up from the dead. The last thing I remember before my vision cut to black was the cold thud of my father's garden hoe, slamming into my back, my mother's screaming insults ringing in my ears, and my best friend's knife scar burning fresh on my cheek. All of this horror, all of this agony, for 3 little boys I'd never carried, never birthed, never even laid eyes on until my husband dragged them into our perfect 8-year relationship and destroyed everything. In my past life, I was naive. I loved my husband Ryan Taylor with every fiber of my being. 3 years of dating, 5 years of marriage, 0 lies, 0 cheating, 0 secrets. We were the couple everyone envied, devoted, loyal, madly in love. A top-tier medical clinic even issued an official report confirming I'd never been pregnant, never given birth to a child in my life. And yet, the second those 3 identical triplet boys appeared, every person I trusted lost their goddamn mind. Ryan was the first to snap. He brought those kids home out of nowhere, stared me dead in the eyes, and insisted they were mine. I'd panicked, ordered an overnight DNA test, and the results were undeniable. Those triplets had 0 blood relation to me, 0 blood relation to Ryan either. They were complete strangers, dropped into our home to ruin my life. But logic didn't matter to him. The second I showed him the proof, he backhanded me so hard my skull rang for hours. He screamed that I was disgusting, that I was a lying, ungrateful wife, and he forced me to sign divorce papers that stripped me of every single marital asset we built together. 8 years of love, 8 years of partnership, gone in an instant, all for 3 random children. Broken and furious, I ran to the only person I thought would save me, my best friend Chelsea. I sobbed out every detail, showed her the DNA reports, begged her to tell me I wasn't crazy. But the second her eyes landed on those 3 quiet little boys huddled in my living room, she snapped too. She grabbed the nearest fruit knife off my coffee table, lunged at me, and sliced a jagged, burning gash across my cheek. Her voice was cold, venomous, unrecognizable as the friend I'd loved for a decade. If you dare say they aren't yours again, next time, I won't stop there. I couldn't breathe, my chest was crushed under the weight of a betrayal I couldn't comprehend. My husband hated me for no reason, my best friend wanted to carve me up for telling the truth, and I had nowhere left to run. That night, I booked a last-minute ticket home to my parents' house, convinced my own family would be my safe haven. I was so stupidly hopeful. I cried for hours, spilling every horrific thing that had happened, begging my mom and dad to believe me, to protect me, but they turned on me too, without a single question. Without glancing at my DNA proof, without letting me explain a single thing, they grabbed a heavy garden hoe, and beat me until I stopped breathing. As darkness swallowed me whole, my last thought was a desperate, confused plea. Why? Why was everyone forcing me to accept children I'd never had? Why was telling the truth a death sentence? That's when I woke up. Back in my marital home, back on the exact day Ryan first brought those triplets to our door. A second chance. This time, I'm not naive. This time, I'm not begging for anyone's belief. This time, I'm surviving, and I'm making every single one of them pay for my brutal, unjust death. I watched Ryan straighten up from tying his shoelaces by the entryway, his movements soft and familiar, the same gentle man I'd loved for 8 years. He turned to me with that warm, loving smile that used to make my heart flutter, and I felt a sharp, painful twist in my chest. How could this man, who'd held me through every hard day, who'd promised me forever, who'd sworn loyalty till death, how could he turn so violent, so cruel, so insane over 3 random kids? I'm going downstairs for some fresh air, I'll be back soon, he said softly. My entire body tensed with urgency. I knew what came next. He wasn't going for fresh air, he was going to pick up those triplets, the ones that would end my life. I couldn't let him leave, not again. Stay home and be good, okay, honey? Ryan added, his voice warm and tender, completely oblivious to the storm of terror and rage raging inside me. When I come back, I'll bring you that chestnut cake you love from the bakery on the corner. Chestnut cake, my favorite in my past life. I'd waited for that cake. I'd waited for his love to make sense of the chaos. I'd waited for a truth that never came. I'm not waiting anymore. Before he could grip the doorknob, I launched myself forward and jumped onto his back, wrapping my arms tight around his neck, refusing to let him go. My mind was racing a mile a minute, desperate for a way to rewrite fate. If we had a child of our own right then, would he stop obsessing over those mysterious triplets? Would he snap out of whatever madness had gripped him? Would I escape the death that awaited me? Honey, don't go out, I whispered urgently. My voice thick with suppressed panic. Let's have a baby of our own right now. Ryan's body stiffened instantly, his casual loving tone dropped, turning rough and confused. Why so sudden? It's the middle of the day, and if we're trying for a baby, shouldn't we prepare first? I squeezed him tighter, clinging to the last shred of normalcy in my broken world. I don't care, I just want to take a bath with you. I was begging silently, please let this work, please let us go back to being us, please don't let those unknown children destroy everything again, but fate was already set in motion. Before Ryan could respond, the doorbell rang, sharp, loud, unavoidable. A cold dread washed over me. That's them, the triplets, the catalysts for every terrible thing that ever happened to me. Oh, I'll get it, Ryan said immediately, like he was being pulled by an invisible, unbreakable force. He shrugged off my arms, grabbed a random towel to wrap around his torso, and rushed straight for the door. No hesitation, no second thought. I sprinted after him, hands outstretched, screaming internally for him to stop opening that door, stop ruining our lives. Stop dooming me to die again, but I was too slow. The lock clicked open, and the second the door swung wide, my worst nightmare stood on our porch. 3 identical little boys, quiet and still, staring straight into our house. They looked harmless, innocent, but I knew better. These kids were poison, they were the reason I'd been slaughtered by everyone I loved. Ryan turned back to me instantly, his face bursting with pure, unbridled joy, the exact same joy I'd seen in my past life right before everything fell apart. His eyes were bright, delirious, utterly insane as he spoke the words that haunted my death dreams every night. Honey, come look at our children, don't they look just like you? All the strength drained from my body in an instant, my legs went weak, my vision blurred at the edges, and I stumbled backward, my back hitting the wall hard. 8 years of perfect love, 8 years of faithful marriage, 8 years of shared history, and he was staring at 3 stranger children and calling them mine. I stared at him, heart shattered, voice shaking with raw, genuine confusion. Ryan, I have never done anything to betray you, how could they possibly be my children? The smile melted off his face in a split second. The loving husband was gone, replaced by the cold, furious man who'd slapped me, abandoned me, let me die alone. He pointed a trembling finger at me, his voice rising into a furious shout, madness swirling in his dark eyes. They are yours because I said they are, you gave birth to them, don't even think about denying it, Vivian, you're going to accept them today whether you like it or not. Don't even think about abandoning me and our sons. I saw it clearly now, the same twisted, unhinged rage that had destroyed my first life. In my past timeline, I'd broken down crying, screaming, begging him to listen to reason, wasting my breath on a man who'd already lost his mind, but not this time. This time, I was calm, cold, collected. I'd already died once for the truth. I wasn't backing down from it again. I let out a slow, steady sigh, staring straight into his furious eyes, no fear in my voice, only quiet, unshakable certainty. You say they're my children, fine, a pregnancy would leave traces, wouldn't it? Where's your proof? We've been together for 8 years, we sleep in the same bed, we share every day, we know every part of each other's lives. Ask yourself honestly, have I ever done anything to betray you or this family? I tilted my head, my voice sharp with the confusion that still gnawed at my soul. I really don't understand, why are you so determined to pin these 3 children of unknown origin on me? My words hit him like an insult, the veins on his forehead bulged, his face turning red with uncontrollable anger, and he roared so loud the walls seemed to shake. Proof, they are the proof, they're standing right here, Vivian, I never thought you could be this heartless, these are your own flesh and blood, even wild animals protect their young, and yet you won't even acknowledge your own children, you've disappointed me so much. Before I could utter another word, his hand flew up, 2 sharp, brutal slaps crashed across my cheeks in quick succession. The impact snapped my head to the side instantly, my ears rang loudly, a burning, stinging pain exploding across both sides of my face, hot tears pricking my eyes before I could stop them. But I didn't cry out, I didn't beg, I didn't break, I stood there, taking the pain, memorizing every detail of his cruelty. This man was not my husband anymore. He was my enemy. After hitting me, Ryan's rage faded into a twisted sense of righteousness, like he'd just punished a terrible, sinful criminal. He turned away from my red, stinging face and walked straight to the 3 silent triplets, pulling them into his arms gently, cradling them like they were the most precious thing in the world. It's okay, babies, we're not going to listen to your bad mommy, Daddy will take you to the bedroom to rest. He herded the 3 little boys into our bedroom, closed the door, and locked it with a quiet click. Seconds later, soft, happy child laughter drifted out from behind the locked door. Every single giggle felt like a knife twisting deeper into my broken chest. In my past life, I'd crumpled to the floor, sobbing, devastated by his betrayal. I'd called Chelsea immediately, desperate for comfort, desperate for someone to side with me, and that mistake cost me a scarred face and eventually my life. This time, I made no move to pick up my phone. This time, I wouldn't beg anyone for help. This time, I wouldn't suffer silently. I was reborn to fix this, to uncover the truth, to make every traitor pay. Just as I steadied my breathing and began plotting my next move, a loud urgent knock banged against my front door. My heart tightened instantly. I knew exactly who it was, Chelsea. My so-called best friend. I stayed perfectly still, refusing to answer, hoping she'd leave, but her voice boomed through the wood, sharp and accusatory, exactly as I predicted. "Vivian, what are you doing in there? Open the door. Did you make Ryan mad again? I'm telling you, that man listens to everything you say. He never messes around, he always puts you first, and there's nothing to complain about. What more do you want from him? Don't be ungrateful." My blood ran cold. Ryan had already gotten to her, he'd already spun his lies, painted me as the cheating, heartless villain, and turned my best friend against me before I could even explain a single thing. This was exactly how my past life unraveled. I took a slow, deep breath, forcing my voice to stay calm as I spoke through the closed door. "Chelsea, what did Ryan tell you?" She let out a scoffing sigh, full of fake disappointment and righteous anger. "You still have the nerve to ask. You cheated on Ryan, and now you don't even have the guts to admit it. You won't even acknowledge your own children. Vivian, I never thought you were this kind of person. Do you even have a heart? You're making women look bad." I broke out in a cold sweat, flashbacks screaming through my mind. The knife, the slash across my cheek, her hatred, unprovoked and brutal. Chelsea worked out every day, she was stronger and faster than me, and in my past life, I'd been completely helpless against her attack. Right now, she hadn't seen the triplets yet, that was my only advantage. If she saw those kids, she'd snap instantly, just like before. I lied quickly, voice steady and believable, buying myself precious time. "Chelsea, you've misunderstood. I think I caught the flu, I'm really dizzy, and I don't want to get you sick. Let's talk another day. You should go home first." For a split second, silence fell outside the door. I thought it might work, I thought she might leave, but then her voice sharpened, suspicious and frantic. "Wait, Vivian, is there someone else in there? Why does it sound like there are kids inside?" My heart sank to my stomach, my last chance to avoid the chaos was slipping away. I rushed to deny it, panic flaring in my chest. "Number, you heard wrong, that's just the television. Vivian, what the hell are you doing? Open the door." Her fists slammed against the door repeatedly, each loud thud pounding straight into my frayed nerves. Fear surged through me, sharp and desperate. I couldn't let her in. I couldn't let history repeat itself. I sprinted across the living room, grabbing the heavy dining table and wooden chairs, dragging them one by one to block the door, stacking them tight to barricade the entrance. I'm not dying again. I'm not getting hurt again. I'm not letting any of them break me again. I just shoved the last chair against the door when I heard it. A quiet, fatal click. The blood in my veins turned ice cold in an instant. I'd forgotten the one critical detail that sealed my fate last time. Chelsea and I were best friends. We trusted each other completely. We each had a spare key to one another's homes. The barricade didn't matter. She was already unlocking the door from the outside. The door flew open seconds later. Chelsea burst inside, shoving past the displaced furniture, her eyes scanning the room wildly. She didn't even glance at me. Her gaze locked immediately on our closed bedroom door, and she charged straight for it like a woman possessed. "Chelsea, don't open that door." I screamed, lunging forward to stop her, hands outstretched, but it was too late. The bedroom door swung open on its own. Inside, Ryan sat on the bed, holding the three identical little boys tightly in his arms, his expression soft and affectionate, a loving father to children who weren't his, who weren't mine, who belonged to no one in this room. The second Chelsea's eyes landed on those triplets, her pupils blew wide with rage, her face turned bright red, hatred blazing in every feature as she spun around to face me. "Vivian, the proof is right in front of you, and you're still trying to deny it, you shameless woman." She whirled around and bolted straight for the kitchen. Before I could process what was happening, she'd grabbed a sharp kitchen knife off the counter and charged back at me, swinging the blade without a single hesitation. Agonizing, burning pain sliced through my upper arm instantly. I cried out, stumbling backward, staring at the fresh cut bleeding through my sleeve. Chelsea advanced on me, knife still raised, her voice vicious and unforgiving. "If you dare say those children aren't yours, one more time, I'll make sure you never say it again. You disgusting woman, those are your own children, and you still refuse to acknowledge them. Fine, I'll teach you a lesson myself." She raised the knife again, ready to strike harder, ready to maim me worse than she did in my past life. Despair crashed over me, thick and suffocating. I thought I'd rewritten my fate. I thought my second chance would save me, but it looked like I was going to suffer the same violence all over again. Just as the knife was about to swing down, loud familiar footsteps rushed through the open front door. My parents, they'd arrived out of nowhere, just like they had in my first life. "Mom. Dad, help me, I screamed, hope flaring in my chest for a split second. Maybe this time would be different. Maybe they'd see the truth. Me mother rushed forward first, stepping between me and Chelsea, and I exhaled shakily, thinking she'd protect me, but her first words were not the comfort I begged for. Chelsea Zeller, have you lost your mind? How dare you attack Vivian? My father stepped beside her, his face dark and stern. Whatever happened, couldn't you talk it out? Why would you attack her? I almost cried with relief. Finally someone was on my side, but Chelsea was already gesturing wildly toward the bedroom, her voice shaking with fake outrage. Mr. and Mrs. Bennett, why don't you ask her what she did? My parents' heads turned in unison, their gazes drifting past Chelsea and straight to the three little triplets standing with Ryan in the bedroom. The second their eyes landed on those kids, everything changed. In an instant, their protective, angry expressions melted away, replaced by cold, unbridled disappointment and rage. Me mother shoved me hard across the chest, caught completely off guard. I crashed to the hard floor, my aching arm slamming against the tile, fresh pain flaring through my body. She pointed down at me, screaming at the top of her lungs, her voice full of hatred for her own daughter. Chelsea was right to hit you. A woman who won't even acknowledge her own children deserves it. My father's eyes turned cold, distant, disgusted as he stared down at me. You've disgraced this family. I never thought you could be this heartless. My heart shattered completely. It was happening again, the exact same nightmare. The second anyone laid eyes on those three mysterious triplets, they lost all logic, all reason, all love for me. The physical pain in my arm and my cheek was nothing compared to the crushing agony of being betrayed by my own flesh and blood. You ungrateful thing, my mother snapped, advancing on me. If I'd known you would grow up to be someone who wouldn't even recognize her own children, I never should have had you. I pushed myself up from the floor, trembling with rage and grief, forcing words out through my shaking throat. Mom, Dad, wake up. Ryan and I have only been married 5 years. We were together every single day. We never spent a night apart. How could I have hidden a full triplet pregnancy from him, from both of you? How could I give birth to 3 children and never tell anyone? I stared at them, begging them to use common sense, to see the madness unfolding. What is wrong with all of you? Why are you so desperate to claim these children who came out of nowhere? My mother ignored every word I said. She kicked me harshly to the side like I was trash and rushed straight for the 3 little boys, her entire demeanor softening into sickening adoration. Oh, my precious grandsons, you're all so handsome. Come here and let Grandma see you. Mom, are you insane? I shouted, broken and desperate. I told you, they have nothing to do with me. My father's face darkened further, his voice booming with anger. You still dare talk back? They look exactly like you. Of course they came from you. Ryan is willing to forgive you, and you should be grateful. You cheated, gave birth to someone else's children, and now you don't even have the courage to admit it. Before I could argue, she grabbed a decorative vase off the shelf, and hurled it straight at me. I ducked just in time, the ceramic shattering against the wall behind my head. My father grabbed a damp mop from the corner and advanced on me, swinging it hard against my shoulders and back. I curled into a tight ball on the floor, covering my head to shield myself from their blows, tears streaming down my face. Why do all of you go insane the moment you see these children? If you're so sure I'm their mother, then come with me for a DNA test. Let the truth prove itself. A DNA test. My mother scoffed, still hitting at me. Why waste money? Anyone can see they're your sons. They beat me for minutes on end, relentless and cruel, fueled by a blind hatred I couldn't understand. Finally, they grew tired of attacking me. They stepped back, breathing hard, and turned all their attention to Ryan, their son-in-law, the man who'd lied to all of them, who'd started this entire nightmare. Ryan, we support you, my father said firmly. Divorce this ungrateful daughter of ours. Make her leave with nothing. The house, the car, the savings, all of it should go to you. Ryan nodded obediently, his voice soft and grateful, like he was the wronged party in this entire mess. Thank you, Mom, thank you, Dad. I watched the scene unfold, my heart turning completely, irreversibly cold. In my past life, they'd beaten me to death with a garden hoe. In this life, they'd come inches from doing the exact same thing. In their eyes, I was nothing. A disgrace, a villain, and those 3 mysterious children were perfect, precious blameless angels. I had no more strength left to argue, no more hope of changing their minds. I pushed myself up off the floor, wincing at every bruise and cut on my body, and spoke in a flat dead voice. Fine, I'll agree to the divorce, but first, you have to clear my name. Those children cannot be blamed on me. I will not carry the stigma of cheating and abandoning my own kids for lies. Ryan's lips tugged into a strange, knowing smile. Fine, he lifted his hand slightly, a silent signal. Instantly, Chelsea stepped forward, her face twisted with unmasked hatred. She grabbed my arm tightly, dragging me toward the door with brutal force, shoving me outside and throwing me into the trunk of her car. The lid slammed shut, trapping me in darkness, and seconds later, she was driving toward a DNA testing clinic. When we arrived, the doctor stared at me with open, unmasked contempt in his eyes. He'd already heard the lies. He already thought I was a cheating, heartless mother abandoning my own triplets. Ryan paced the waiting room, punching the wall repeatedly, his shoulders shaking like he was overwhelmed with grief and heartbreak, putting on the perfect show of a wronged, loving husband, my chest twisted with old, painful love. I still remembered the man he used to be. I still ached for the life we used to have. I walked forward slowly, reaching out to touch his arm, desperate to comfort him, desperate to find a trace of the man I loved underneath the madness, but the second my fingertips brushed his skin, he recoiled like I'd burned him, jumping back in pure revulsion. Before I could blink, his hand crashed across my face in another brutal slap. "You disgusting woman, you won't even acknowledge your own sons. Don't touch me, stay away from me." I was stunned, frozen in place by the pure hatred in his eyes. I reached for his sleeve instinctively, voice broken and confused. "Ryan, you," he jerked his arm away violently, growling at me like I was a repulsive stranger. "Get away from me, you make me sick." Tears finally spilled down my cheeks, hot and helpless. "Ryan, what happened to you? We loved each other so much. We had everything. Why are you doing this?" He lifted his head, and his eyes were no longer angry, they were desperate, pleading, almost deranged. "Honey, it's because I love you too much. Why can't you just listen to me this once?" And then, he dropped to his knees with a heavy thud in the middle of the busy clinic waiting room. He knelt before me, head bowed, voice begging and broken for every stranger to hear. "Honey, I'm begging you, please accept the children, just this once. Listen to me this once, okay?" The entire waiting room erupted in shocked gasps and murmurs, every pair of eyes locked on me, judging me, hating me. A crowd quickly gathered, surrounding us, their voices loud and accusatory. "Oh my God, that poor man is on his knees begging his wife. She looks normal, but how can she be so heartless? Those kids are already so big, how can their own mother refuse to acknowledge them? Young people these days are unbelievable, so selfish. She definitely has another man, no other explanation. Someone record this, put it online so everyone can see how terrible she is." Wave after wave of insults and accusations crashed over me, drowning me in public shame and hatred. I shook my head frantically, trying to explain the truth, trying to tell everyone the kids were strangers, that the DNA would prove it all. "Number, it's not what you think," I cried out. "You're all wrong," but my small voice was completely swallowed by the crowd's rage. "She's still making excuses. Teach her a lesson for lying to everyone." I don't know who shoved me first. One hard push sent me stumbling backward, then another blow hit my shoulder, then a kick to my leg. The crowd lost control completely, swarming around me, their judgment turning to unbridled violence. I was knocked to the cold clinic floor in seconds. I curled into a tight ball, arms wrapped around my head, trying desperately to protect myself from the endless blows raining down on me. But in the chaos, a hard, heavy object slammed violently into the back of my skull. Explosive, blinding pain burst through my head. My vision whited out, the shouts and screams of the crowd faded to a distant hum. And then, everything went black. I woke up slowly, my head throbbing with unbearable pain, my body aching from countless bruises and cuts. I was lying in a sterile hospital bed, the beep of a heart monitor echoing softly in the quiet room. A young nurse stood beside my bed, staring down at me with clear fear and unease in her eyes, like I was something terrifying and unworthy of sympathy. Without a single word, she handed me a thick white document envelope, the DNA test results. I propped myself up shakily on the hospital pillows, my hands trembling so badly, I could barely grip the envelope. I tore it open with fumbling fingers, pulling out the official lab report, my eyes scanning the pages frantically for the truth I'd died defending in my past life. But the second my eyes landed on the final conclusion printed in bold black font, every ounce of blood drained from my face, my entire body went numb. My breath caught in my throat, and I froze completely, staring at the words that explained every single insane, unforgivable thing that had happened to me. For the first time in 2 lifetimes, I finally understood why my husband, my best friend, and my own parents had all gone crazy over 3 random triplets. I finally knew why everyone had forced me to accept children I'd never birthed. Why they'd been willing to beat me, hurt me, kill me to make me admit a lie. And the truth is far more twisted, far more terrifying, and far more deadly than I ever could have imagined. Do you think the triplets are actually tied to Vivian, in a horrifying hidden way, or is there a sinister supernatural force controlling everyone around her? Drop your theory in the comments below. If you enjoyed this gripping rebirth revenge thriller story, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.